Hey folks, how you doing? It's Clay the author here with another Drive from Work video. Today's video, it's not a book review. It's, how do I explain it? Well, it's a character study, right? I just read Robert Heinlein's Citizen of the Galaxy. Can't remember any of the characters' names because I'm horrible like that, but it's about a beggar who's not a beggar, and the slave he buys, who is, of course, starts out a slave but ends up gaining his freedom. And it's us following the story of this kid who starts out at maybe 9 years old, a non-verbal, just animalistic slave kid who is violent and awful and all those horrible things, and how he learns to speak 6 languages and become a free man and find out, who he actually is as a person, right? And it's, so I usually need conflict in my stories, right? I'm a big fat fan of, give him a gun, tell him where to go, don't even tell him who to shoot, count the bodies later. There was none of that in Citizen of the Galaxy. I mean, none. It's the best scenes in the book, no joke. The best scenes in the book are after the boy leaves planet, goes off planet, because he's Citizen of the Galaxy. That's not like a really big spoiler, right? Eventually he makes it off planet. And the people he's with are folks it's an awesome book about culture, guys. So there's all these different cultures, and he's this that's why he's the Citizen of the Galaxy. He's culturally agnostic, and yet what we do is, through his eyes, we experience a bunch of different cultures and what culture shock is like for people, right? So like what it is to be the other in somebody else's world. And he's on this ship, and he's technically supposed to be part of the family of the ship, and yet he's only been there a day, he's not accepted. And there is one other woman, another human being, who is not part of the family. The only other human being who is technically not part of the family, and they're forced together because they're the only 2 people that nobody else will talk to on the ship, right? They're the only pariah. Anyway, they're those things. And those are the best moments in the book. There's like 2 of them, and it's these conversations these basically strangers have about how hard it is to be alone. And for me, that's super weird that those are the best scenes in the book, right? I mean, I read the Doom book like just a few months back just to try to see what was up, and that's awful, right? Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. As an aside note, I went to the library and I got a Gears of War book, but I don't know if that was a good idea either. Anyway, the best scenes are these scenes between an older woman and a young boy who have nothing in common but loneliness. Oh, that's so deep for just like a little tiny sci-fi thing. There's a reason Heinlein is yeah. Anyway, so what I've done is juxtapositioned that in my brain against the other 3 books I've tried to read recently, and failed, by the way. I might be able to finish Revan here. Might. Kenobi? Don't care about Kenobi. Old Ben finding a home on Tatooine. Don't care. It's not good. Other people might think it's good. Tell me below if you think it's good and I'm wrong and I just need to finish it. If it gets better, I hope it does. But I'm about to explain why I don't think it's gonna get better. Tarkin is the other book I tried to read. Tars Tarkin? No, no. Tarkin, oh my gosh. Darth Vader, the little guy who hangs out with, the skinny guy who hangs out with him, the old guy who they computer animated in one of the most recent movies, right? The harsh looking awesome dude. Go look him up. He's got a book that's from his perspective, as he's like helping to build the Death Star or something. I don't even know. Couldn't finish it, couldn't get through it. Not into it. Reading Revan right now, which is about a half dark light Jedi Sith master dude. Barely into it. Barely. And we're gonna go over why right now. Okay, so Citizens of the Galaxy, it's a character study. It is only about characters and their feelings and their wants and their needs, and there's no real conflict other than his interpersonal conflict with the people who want to treat him like crap. Okay, that doesn't sound interesting, and yet the things that he goes through, the experiences of rejection and loneliness are so universal. I mean, they're universal. And then when you go to the Kenobi, Revan, whatever, right? All three of these books, it is very obvious that they're fan fiction. They are there for somebody to experience the world, not for somebody to experience the characters. And that was a very strange thing for me, and that's why I think I might be able to make it through Revan, because Revan is very much focused on the characters. And if you think about it, if you just bear with me for a second, this will make sense, because Revan is the only original character out of the books I just named. Kenobi, he's a fan character. We want to see the character we already know do interesting stuff. Tarkin, he's a character we already know. We want to see him doing interesting stuff. That's why I'm calling it fan fiction. But Revan is a new character. So you have to sell Revan, right? And so he has to have his own internal turmoil and struggles that you're going through with him in real time in that book right then and there. Otherwise, you're not invested in the character. And I think that's what's going on. And I know for a fact that's why I'm having a hard time with my Salvage book, which brings us back to what I'm doing and all this stuff, right? Salvage, the science fiction book I'm trying to write, written, edit, mess that it is, word barf. If you've been watching these videos, folks, you could tell all I've done is draw mechs and write out worlds and design maps, because that's what I do. I'm a Dungeons & Dragons guy. That's where I exist, and that's how I feel good about stuff, or that's where my comfort zone is, right? And that's how I feel good about myself and about like what I produce, is producing worlds. But people don't read about worlds, apparently. People want to play D&D about worlds because it's their own character. But people don't want to read about a world. I didn't even want to read about a world. I couldn't even build a story around a world. I wasn't able to do it. And that's why I've been struggling so hard. And I finally, reading these 4 books sort of in juxtaposition together and doing a bunch of YouTube research on how to create in-depth character arcs, it's all finally come together. And I think I get it. Stories are about characters. Plot is just the fencing you use to talk about those characters. Plot points are empty voids of nothing. No matter how in-depth and detailed they are, it's just a plot point. Nobody cares about it unless a character is experiencing it, and we care about that character and how they're feeling about it. And if we don't care about the character's experiences of that moment, then the moment doesn't exist. It's stupid. And that's where I'm at. That's what I've discovered. And now I've got to go incorporate that into my writing. Oh! But that's it, folks. That's what I've discovered. And that's my next journey. So these next few videos, they're going to be about me mind dumping and sharing with you guys. And maybe we'll do some ride-alongs or some character figure-outs. That's what it's going to be, right? I think finally I am starting to come up with a plan. I've got my 96-page character doc thing, right, that you guys have heard about if you're following. By the way, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. because more videos are coming. Because, yes, every plan gets derailed because I am iterating and going through. But every time I get that much closer. And so, because I'm a nerd and because I have to build frameworks, I'm moving too slow. But if I'm a nerd and I can build really good frameworks and then sell those, I get lead magnets. I get, email generation guys and stuff like that. And so I could have a whole resource set out of my learning process. And I'm realizing again, this is energy, that this is what people do. And this is how folks who only have 2 books out say, hey, no, look it out. Check it out. I've got these things for sale. I've got these resources for sale. Really, for real, they're useful. I feel like I could be there in the next several months. That, no, I have these resources and they're useful. And yeah, I haven't written a lot of books, and maybe I'm a nobody who you shouldn't be listening to. But I get paid to build shit for a living. I'm pretty confident this is gonna work and be good. It'll need edits like anything, and it'll need testing like anything. But no, this is like what I do, is build frameworks for figuring out how to create logical structures. And so I'm like on the cusp, guys. I'm really excited. This video's gotten too long, so I'm gonna sign off here. You guys are great. This has been so much fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for paying attention at all and noticing that I exist in the universe. Comment below and let me know what you use for your resources, for keeping all your stuff organized, for plotting and character arcs and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I'm trying to build right now, right? And yeah, I know Scrivener exists, but it's too loose. It's not on rails enough. I want something, because it is my ardent belief that structure is empty, I want some seriously hardcore structure. So if you know where that exists, let's share. If not, I'll create it and then I'll share. All right. You guys have a great day. It's Clay signing off. That was lame. I won't do that again.